So, Jim, what is the plan for these first 3 days before the first preseason game on Monday?
Well, the biggest thing we're trying to do is get the players away from the habits they have in the summertime. We get them back to some structured forecheck, structured neutral zone, some D zone responsibilities, and just kind of getting them back in that mindset of having players bump into each other and compete a little bit harder, closer contact, and making sure that we go through today and tomorrow to get a little bit more of a mental preparation going into the game on Sunday, and then getting ready for the 3 games we got coming up right away after that.
The game on Sunday, you're talking about a scrimmage here between Team B and C, or will the teams be reconfigured on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll reconfigure the teams and we'll set it up where there's 4 lines and 6 defensemen, and we'll get it going where some players we want to see in some competition, see how they show up against some NHL players, and then we'll have a group of players that won't be going on the ice, so we'll just have a power play practice before.
How have the teams been divvied up? Is there a method to the madness, so to speak?
Well, there's certainly the NHL veteran rule. You have to have so many veterans in the games, and I think the one thing that Tip's done a good job of over the years is putting players in position where they are going to play during the regular season when they are in the lineup. So we're not going to, if you're a third-line player projected in the NHL, that's where you're going to play in the exhibition games. And so it's going to be balanced out. We'll have some good veterans play some kids and give the kids a chance to play in some environments where they're surrounded by good players and they know they can be, have good support and they can do their thing and still be supported out there.
What about the teams today, like A, B, and C? I'm sure some of these lines we might not see in the regular season. So what was the intent about a Strome with a Duclair and McGinn, or?
Just again, it ties back into where we think the kids are going to have to play through training camp and into some exhibition games. So you want to put players in position where they feel like they're comfortable. And with 9 forwards in each group, we added an extra forward in one of the groups. So it's numbers, and we're trying to get everybody enough reps and enough structure back in their game. Where by the time we get to Sunday, and we're reviewing Sunday as the start of our exhibition season, so it's important that we get guys in the right positions.
Jim, we all noticed Michael Stone out there in the bright orange, no contact uniform. Can you just explain to our fans where he is and what's expected of him early on here in camp?
Sure. Well, Mike's been skating at the ice stand with the players. He just hasn't been in any contact, and we'll continue that with no contact for a while. And we're waiting to get to the 6-month period for the proper healing and so on and so forth. And then from there, we'll start graduating him into a little bit more contact. And right now, the important thing is for him to get, like the rest of our players, some structure and some routes down. But again, staying out of contact and letting him get his leg completely healed. And so he put a new brace on today, which was something he hadn't had on for a while. So he gets through that, and we'll stay with it for the early part of training camp. And we're hoping that Mike can get up and running and pushing early, earlier than later for a spot.
Jim, what are your thoughts on Luke Schenn? Obviously, you're in charge of the defense, and Luke comes in here. We were talking to him earlier, and we were asking him, are you a veteran? Are you still a young guy? He's so young, but he's played so many games. Or not so young. He's in his mid-20s, but he's over 500 games. Yeah. What are your thoughts and expectations on him?
First of all, we view him as a young player. We view him as a guy that, he's started off in Toronto, goes to Philadelphia. He comes to an environment now where it's probably a little less media, watching him closely. But again, talking to people that have been around him, he's a great competitor. He's a great player, a great team player. We want him to find his comfort zone and become a real hard defender for us. I think that's one thing we lacked last year at points in time, was being a little too easy to play against in the corners and around the front of our net. So I just think he's a real solid player. I think he has an identity that we can still work on a little bit and establish a little bit more meanness and a little bit more structure in his game. And we're looking forward to him being a big part of this thing. And when you get a player of his stature into your group like we do, it just allows your group to really solidify itself, and it puts people in their proper positions.